Yo, what it is? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I be that Sequential Geek. Welcome to my channel, Sequential Geek. This be comic book haul 69 parts. 31. Mega haul, big ol' haul. Damián Connelly's You Promised Me Darkness. Let's start off with this 5-issue limited series. This is cover A. Each issue of this 5-issue limited series had at least 3 covers. This is cover A. This is originally printed by Behemoth, but Behemoth got bought by Sumerian, FYI. So we're talking Yuko and Sebastian, foster kids. They are on the run. That's how this starts. They're homeless. This is Sebastian. This is Yuko. She is on the only second printing. There's one cover for the second printing, and it's this one, and it's used as, I think, the B cover for the trade paperback. Originally, this creator, Damián Connelly, he's from Argentina, and originally this was a trade paperback. It wasn't until it was in the United States, until it was divided up into issues, originally by Behemoth, and like I said, it's now owned by Sumerian, or it's now printed by Sumerian. So Yuko and Sebastian are on the run. They're homeless. Sebastian thought that his powers of creating fire, he can kind of control it. He thought it killed his foster parents, but he later finds out that it was really the antagonist of this story, the anti-everything. This guy right here. The anti-everything and his crew actually were after Sebastian because he can create and control fire. And this guy, the anti-everything, see, everybody has these auras. Everybody's got auras. They're like powers. So the anti-everything, his power is to absorb everybody else's aura by killing them. Yup. The story is set up by Sage. This guy right here kind of looks like an alien. He's got like white skin, like bright white with these, probably brighter than mine, with these like big alien type eyes. And I think he might have a connection with the comet, actually. Halley's Comet started giving people superpowers, which they're calling auras, as of 1910. So there's been 2 waves, 1910 and 1986. That's when Sebastian and Yuko got their powers, as well as the anti-everything got his powers in 86. So Sage, he has this place called the Refuge, which he created to help people that have auras. And he's relaying info to us, breaking the fourth wall. He sees from his own visions and those of his friends with benefits, Lady Diversa. Here she is on the cover of issue number 1, cover B. This is issue 1, cover A. And here's issue 1, cover B. That's Lady Diversa. Her and Sage happen to be immortal. That's part of the auras that they have. He gets powers every 10 years, as a matter of fact. And one of his powers are having visions. She can have visions, dreams. She can see the future. She can also locate people, Lady Diversa. So they've known each other for a while. And Lady Diversa and Sage, they're part of the first crew, like I said, that got powers, these auras from Halley's Comet. And they're part of this group called Children of the Comet, like the first superhero team. So Sage, he's narrating this in like a Faulkner-esque type of style, in and out of time somewhat, kind of like depicting flashbacks to an extent here and there, just to either catch the reader up to speed or to introduce what the heck is going on. I'll give you a brief rundown of that. Sage and Lady Diversa, as well as this kid Elliot. He's part of Sage's crew. I think he's more of a newer aura, and he is part of this team. I think he's part of the team called the Weird Eight, that's out of this fictional city where everything takes place, called Colosimo. He can levitate things, and he also has visions. He can like help locate people. So Billy's, I'm not sure if he's part of the Weird Eight, but I know he's part of Sage's Refuge. It's a place where people with auras can chill safely. The motivation of the story originates from the dreams and visions these people are having, letting them know this huge explosion is going to end the world in 2012, July 2012. Here is cover C, and A and B either have like a black or red background, and then the cover C have this like fuchsia, whatever you want to call this type color. This is Cordelia there. This is cover 5 of issue Uno. Still of issue 1, there's Yuko and her foster brother, Sebastian. And this is the Anti-Everything. And this came out in 2021, by the way. So the motivation for the story, as I was saying, it originates in the dreams and visions that these people are having, letting them know that this huge explosion is going to envelop the Earth. And it's this like Armageddon type situation. It's going to end the world in July 2012. And Sage is telling the story, and he counts the weeks down during each of these 5 issues. It's a doomsday plot device, if you will. So he has to keep Sebastian from the Anti-Everything. That's the story. And it's the artwork, I would say, is very raw. It's a lot like Mark Andreyko, the artist of Torso, that murder mystery written by Bendis, way back when Bendis started. Also, the image kind of reminds me of imagery reminds me of Frank Miller a lot. This is actually a separate artist. This nude variant, as it's referred to, is by Luisina Modica. Yet the interiors and most of the covers, as well as the writing, is by Damián Connelly. He created this series after he recovered from some serious damage to his hands, I believe. So he recovered from physical therapy and started this book. It's really cool book that it's like kind of like a modern dark take on superheroes. It's kind of a horror type of story. By the way, what is this? This is the 7th cover of the first printing. And this is the Sanctum Sanctorum variant, which is 00129 if you really need to know. And here's the whole group. That's Cordelia. People on the left are part of Sage. This is Sage who I was talking about. People on the left there are part of his refuge. That's Cordelia. So whenever she turns into this creature that has like tentacles and these large spider-like legs, and she's a real powerful being like this actually, and these like floating eyeballs around it, kind of like a Cthulhu type being. Her clothes tear apart when it happens, so she always has to wear a robe or have like a backup set of clothing. This is Gretel. Hansel got killed by the Anti-Everything. Her and Ignatia, Nuria, this cat that can create hairballs that when you enter them, they'll teleport you wherever she wants you to go. Just little stuff like that. It's just really cool. Little quirky ways that these people have their powers. Not everything is perfect, and it's just really odd. This is Hate, has this suitcase that this sort of like venom-like substance can erupt from. Dominatrix, referred to as Ophelia by Diva. Diva can affect your emotions, mainly in a negative way, sad or like angry, confused kind of way. Dominatrix has these 3 sisters, these 3 imaginary voices that talk to her, but she can tell people what to do. And this other guy, interestingly enough, he also has this white type of gray streak in his hair, similar to Sebastian. But this guy's really fast, and he says he eats people. Until the end of the series. I think it's a change of heart. A lot of people get a change of heart because Yuko's power is to like give you your either greatest desires or greatest fears, and she can kind of affect your motivations. She also has visions. Yep. Not everything is clear cut and dry, but as a whole, things make sense, and it's just a fun read that you have to kind of put pieces together. It's not gonna walk you through everything, but at the end there is a payoff, and definitely incites a lot of discussion. I would love to hear your feedback on the story. So this is the first issue, and the first issue has a 3rd printing. Here's Nuria, that cat from the Weird 8, and the Weird 8 is based on this fictional city called Colosimo. Yep. So here we go. What is this? Black Cape Comics, 300 copies, 55 out of 300. I believe that is Diva on the cover. Issue number 2, like I pointed out before, it's got the Anti-Everything on the cover. It does indicate how this end of the world event, it happens the same time as this one famous pop artist who also happens to have an aura. The Gundam style guy. Triggers the end of the world, or takes part, or when the song is released, it's when the end of the world occurs. It's part of these visions. The explosion takes place at Colosimo, the same place that Sage has his refuge, same area where Armando Kincaid, aka the anti-everything, is hunting down Sage. He's obsessed with Sage. His father was this abusive priest that called him the Antichrist. So after 1986, this guy Armando, he didn't know he had an aura until he killed this woman he was robbing, maybe for his satanic church. I'm not sure why he was robbing her, just that's what he does. And he didn't know he could absorb auras until right when he killed this woman, who turns out she had the aura to freeze things, create ice sculptures, for example. So this guy who already had a satanic church, who did home invasions, right? He finds out his aura is that he absorbs enough auras that it'll increase his physical strength, and he can also turn people into these zombies that he tells what to do. Fucking wild. Here is Yuko on the B cover of issue 2. And like I said, the backgrounds to these are like a fuchsia cover for the C cover, and that is Diva on the cover, number 2C. Issue number 3, 3A. Now, there's a bunch of reviews of issue number 3. I thought one of the cool things about issue number 3 that you'll see online, a lot of reviews, for example, is that how you got the Weird Eight. They show how Nuria, Gretel, Hansel, Ignatia, they had fought the anti-everything and ended up killing Hansel. I'm not exactly sure the detail of these guys, but they're this like superhero group from this fictional city, Colosimo. There's another scene here that's a flashback when Yuko is telling about how her first encounter with the anti-everything was when her and Sebastian are squatting at this mall, an abandoned mall. And I like that aspect of, like, keeps it modern, right? It keeps it real. And it's like the world outside our window, unlike how, like, what Marvel and DC kind of used to be. I mean, just the settings and stuff like that I thought was interesting. There is a gritty elegance to a lot of these stories by Damián Connelly that I'm just really digging. So you're introduced to Dogface Richard and Mary Jelly, a couple other people that have auras that are also squatting at this mall with Sebastian and Yuko. And then they encounter the anti-everything who's been hunting them down. He's with Dominatrix and he's with Diva. And then this is where Dominatrix refers to these sisters, these 3 women, these 3 voices that she hears that for some reason told her to take the mask of the anti-everything off, that gas mask that he has. Here's number 3A. And this is Hate. Hate gets introduced later at the abandoned bowling alley, as a matter of fact. But that's where the bad guys staying at, and he recruits some evil doers. One of them's Hate. Here's Elliot, and then there's Gretel on the back of cover C. And it was just crazy when the mask got taken off in issue 3 when they were at the mall. It allowed for Yuko and Sebastian to escape. Not quite sure what's going on with Dominatrix. She kind of does her own thing, but she's also evil. Issue number 4, we got Diva on the cover. I did a review of issue number 4 like 2 videos back, so go check that out. That would be, I think, part 29 of Comic Book Haul 69. Check that out, please. Here is the B cover of issue number 4 with Cordelia on the cover, and there's Yuko. Issue C of number 4. And that's September 2021 when this final issue came out, I believe. Got Sage there on the cover. B cover for issue number 5, and here is the C cover with Cordelia. Nice. And then that story, that 5-issue limited series, is followed up with just this recent one that just came out towards the end of 2022 now, and that's Damián Connelly's Follow Me Into Darkness. And this one is 4 issues. And then following this, I think the 3rd and final part is 3 issues, all written and drawn by Damián Connelly. So this is the C cover for issue number 1. Here is the D cover. I'm liking that one. The A is Yuko. The B is her brother, Sebastian. And then I was supposed to get the C cover, this one, from a seller that had sent me, where is it? These next covers. Here's cover 1. Oh, black. Yeah. And this is the back of all of them. They all have this image right here, and then this is the limited edition all black. Otherwise, they would say, like, this one would say, like, cover D. But it's the same image of, I believe that's Yuko. And, you know, Follow Me Into Darkness was initially when they ran away from home, and Sebastian thought it was his fault that his foster parents died. So it was Yuko that was trying to console him, saying that she would promise him darkness. Thus, you promised me darkness. And there's some references to darkness throughout. You promised me darkness, like in issue 3 right here. Issue 3 was when Dominatrix had taken off the Anti-Everything's mask, and she said something like, "Let the darkness reveal the truth." A lot of references to darkness. Poetic remarks now and then. So this is the... Which cover is this? This is the E cover for issue 1 of the follow-up story, Follow Me Into Darkness. And the artwork on this one is done by a guy's name who I am not recalling offhand, but he is one of the co-founders of Whatnot, I think. And if that's the case, then it's kind of anticlimactic. It's got a bad taste in my mouth from that whole online bidding channel. I think YouTube became a portal for Whatnot all of 2022, second half of 2021, essentially. Kind of YouTube showing its true colors thanks to Whatnot and that whole nerdy girl and acetate cover, and just still look at all the search results. Shill City, baby. Shill City. So this artwork on this cover is by Cover E, is by, I believe, one of the Whatnot founders. This cover is by Michael Calero, and he is a co-founder of Whatnot Publishing. There you have it. Overall, not a bad cover, not a bad cover. Gotta say, loving Damián Connelly's art. Preferring this way more. Here is issue number 2 of Follow Me Into Darkness. And issue number 3. And wrapping it up, Damián Connelly's 4th issue. The second part to his little trilogy of limited series. You Promised Me Darkness, Follow Me Into Darkness. And when I find out that third limited series name, I'll let you know. So this big old mega haul is going to be a bunch of new comics, mainly stuff from this year, past year a little bit, but yeah, mainly stuff from the past 7 months. Start off with the last issue of Becoming Frankenstein. That's right, it came out in February 2023. It's by Paul H. Birch and Mel Smith. Those are the writers. Frank Cirocco, Cirocco, Cirocco. It's the artist. And then these B covers for the 6-issue limited series. They're by Craig Hamilton. The trade paperback collecting all 6 issues of Becoming Frankenstein just came out in May, I believe. As far as I know, 10 Ton Press right here, 10 Ton Press, they are known for rock and roll biographies. And then Becoming Frankenstein. It's the only thing that comes to mind for 10 Ton Press. Yo, Ben Oliver. Either that section of the video just got edited out for copyright. You got to see that nice purple rain right there. Can you dig it? Fucking cool is that? Got the original price tag. Yeah, that's right. June 1984. Oh, we don't have the sleeve though. Yeah, I'll be honest. I can't keep this as much as it is killing me to say that. Damn it. I can't keep this. Going through the boxes in the garage, like 99% done, and like all the great bands that I've known about, it's all thanks to the big sis. That's right. I have an old sister. She's old. Old. We don't get along anymore. But still, yeah, I gotta let her know I got this. I found this like a year ago. Still haven't told anyone. This is mine. Damn it. No, I eventually this will no longer be in my possession. Apollonia. See if we can close up on that. But yeah, that's there she is. Nice. And let's not forget, I'm sure everybody has a copy of these, but still, check out that price tag like UPC. That's right. What does it say there? 00731. That's right. That's the C cover. Yeah, I got to note the Dave Williams cover for Snake Eyes Storm Shadow issue number 19. That swipe off of the Purple Rain album. I mean, that's the ultimate, really. But had to get this. Not much of a recent DC fan or a Marvel fan, but I am a collector of Purple Rain album swipes. So, oh yeah, Ben Oliver, Prince Homage, March 2023 release date. So goodbye, sweet Prince. Kevin Eastman cover of Daredevil issue number 10. That just came out, I think, in April, because this Daredevil number 9 came out March 2023. So now we're talking Alex Ross. Couldn't help but to get 3. It's Daredevil number 9, volume 7, the B cover by Alex Ross. Ended up with just 1 Mandarin cover. Invincible Iron Man number 4, that's the C cover, also out of March 2023. Timeless Venom. That's right, also out of March. I believe it's also March 2023, right? How many would you get? I got a few copies of ASM 300 to go with these, so let's see if I can get this right. It's badass. What? Your girlfriend left you for that guy? Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. Okay. This, by the way, is Venom Lethal Protector 2, issue number 1, the C cover. What's that? What we got here? What we got here? Certificate of Authenticity. Alex Ross. That's right. This was a total of $125. Look out. Got a receipt here from Alex Ross Art. There's your signature. Timeless Doctor Doom. So this is Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 1. The sketch variant. Then, when I was over at the Rocky Mountain Con meeting Mr. Jim Steranko, had a seller sell me this copy for $80. Talked him down from $100. I got this for 80 cash. Then we got ourselves the regular cover of Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 1, Alex Ross timeless variant. The black and white is the 1 in 100, by the way. One of the things I hope that makes this thing sell is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie ticket. Yeah, check that out. I wasn't crazy about this movie. I thought it was a fun science fiction movie, just like with the Star Wars, the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars movies, but I just didn't find them to be like part of that universe. I didn't find the Kathleen Kennedy movies to be Star Wars movies, and I didn't find this to be much of a Marvel movie. I'm sorry. I know that everybody's just so all about James Gunn, and it was a fun movie, and this was a good movie, but to me, it just didn't have the Marvel appeal. But then Marvel doesn't really exist anymore, so yeah, I am out the game as far as comics from like really, I would say from around 2008 onward. I'm really just haven't been in the game. So I got this ticket. I bought myself an extra ticket and went and saw the movie all alone. Here's my used ticket that I got here. So let me know anyone's got any feedback on collectability of movie tickets, used or not. So I know everybody has been trying to make sure that we all end up with a digital passport and everything's digital, and that's really important while everything else goes to hell. So I wish I was a citizen of Latveria. Swear to God. Here's to being a citizen of Latveria. I would love, I have a feeling, wouldn't mind it these days. But I also love Doom, though. It's probably, God, he's like my top three. It always alternates. But Magneto, Doom, Black Panther. And then you got your Spider-Man, your Wolverine. But yeah, for my Marvel top three, it'd be those cats. Sick autograph right there. It's dope. And this, by the way, I just want to note, like, I would buy this if somebody said, hey, I got an Alex Ross certificate of authenticity. This looks like it can be fake, though. Is there anything on the other side of this certificate? All right, there's some paper stock to it for sure. Although it is just blank, they should put some type of design on here. Really, I gotta say, even if it's like a postcard, right? Like show some type of image. Anything, the more unique you can make this, the better, in my opinion. Yeah. The more you weed out the little lowbrow charlatans and grifters, but yeah, there's some thicker paper stock to this certificate. And I'm sure this is probably his actual signature written on here. Speaking of movie tickets, The Flash, opening day at 2 p.m. Friday, seat A1. That's right. And this one is like when you pull it out of the machine, there's like a very thin piece of paper that is attaching the three receipts here. So this is totally unused. It still has this thin strip of paper holding them together. So what do you think? Completely unused The Flash ticket. And then I got some used ones, a couple used ones right here. Let me know your take on unused movie tickets having any potential in the future. Not a lot of people bought Flash tickets. And my last Alex Ross Timeless. Had to get this. Can't say that I'm a super huge fan of Mystique, but I think this cover nails it. 2023 Alex Ross Timeless covers. He really made his mark with these covers, I think. Long run. It adds some value to the whole variant cover market shtick. This is Rogue and Gambit, issue number 1. Next up, Avengers number 1, facsimile. I am a fan of the Avengers. The Avengers were my first superhero group type comic. I think a lot of it had to do with just I gotta say, like, I was familiar with them. I know those Jack Kirby, like, stop motion cartoons. They had those as reruns throughout the 70s when I was growing up. So the Avengers, for more than one reason, was the team that I gravitated towards growing up. That was my jam. That was my thing. That was what I was looking for in the turn aisle rack. And also at that local bookstore, reading Railroad Express, a suburb of Detroit. I'd ride my bike out to, find some bottles, returnables, get some money on top of just washing the car or having a car wash or mowing lawns, whatever. And then I'd buy my comics. And I think, since I was so young, I didn't really keep track of when the comics came out, trying to get comics before everybody else. I wasn't into all that. So I just got what was left on the rack. And I just think that Avengers was a cool title. And maybe it wasn't popular enough for everybody else because it was always on the turn rack for me. And I just loved Avengers. And I always was reading them growing up, following them up until, like, I think really until Roger Stern left. When Roger Stern left the Avengers, I held on for about 6 more months, off and on, I think until like issue 305. Yeah, for like about another year. I think John Byrne did 305, and I think I read until issue 300. So, something like that. And I've always been just looking for Avengers #1 reprints. Like, you've got the whole thick hardcover Marvel Masterworks. I've got that still sealed in the plastic. I've got the whole Marvel Milestone edition that came out in 1993. So that was 30 years after the Avengers were first printed, written by Stan Lee, plot and art by Jack Kirby. And then here we are another 30 years later, baby, 30 by 30, in the year 2023, the 60th anniversary. So I get the facsimiles. Another reprint. I got this last year. I just wanted to show it off. This is what version is this called? Mighty Marvel Masterworks. So if you see Mighty in front of it, it's going to be this like mini-sized manga size. Real convenient to hold though. I like this size. Fun to read. Yeah, this is awesome. Definitely psyched for this. This is awesome. Avengers #1, September 1963 cover date. There's Loki up to no good. Jack Kirby. I believe that's Dick Ayers inking his artwork. Granite State Punk. Hold up. So when I read this, Theft Forever, Justin Bear, he makes a lot of comments about how he's punk rock and how his artwork is not easy on the reader, and he's wondering if that'll turn people off. But there is redemption to this story because he talks about getting in a rut and how he wants to do his own thing, and he wants to be punk rock, and he's even willing to have his place without heat because he's going to be an artist and he only has so much money and time, and he wants to work on his art. And it's very meta in this story as well, from that punk aspect of him just not just thinking out of the box, but just the meta aspects of this. It's really fucking cool. It's not easy on the eyes, and the meta commentary that this guy has of his own artwork, and the redeeming aspect that I was getting at is that this is a story about this guy who is an artist. It's almost like a autobiographical about Josh Bayer's own experiences going through a winter trying to maintain being an artist. And that's the redeeming aspect of it, because as much as this guy bitches or talks about doing his own thing or gets sidetracked with certain things, he is an artist. He is creating art throughout the story, the character. Really cool. Like when he listens to his Walkman, I said that word. When he listens to his music, he'll have like an image above him like that of the music influencing him right there as he's walking. That's him walking, and I get the music screaming at him. So punk rock and comics, using it as an attitude, as a motivation. And that's in this. This is a one-shot, and this is the variant, the VHS variant. This type of thing, but the rest is the same. And the artwork, I notice, is kind of similar, a little bit more sketchy, a little bit more rough. And it's in color. But it's about this guy who's into punk rock, but he's also fighting against this evil witch. So, evil black magic. So, from this director's cut type of cover variant out of Scout Comics. And this just came out, this one shot recently. So that also reminds me to give a shout out to Rude Planet. Rude Planet. Watching this guy's channel, I feel like I'm hanging out with some people I used to know at the bar. Shit. Much respect. Shout out, Rude Planet. He's kind of a rocker himself. He is a writer. Bad Things is the name of his book about these fucking crazy ass drug riddled rockers out on the road. Please check out his YouTube channel, Rude Planet. Let me know what you think. Drop by, say hi to Matt Reel over at Rude Planet. I showed this. This is from the Blade 2 movie. Came out in 2002. Wesley Snipes comic, The Exiled, issue number 2, cover 5, first printing by Diego Galindo. That Blade homage. I think that this is also published by Whatnot, The Exiled. Is that correct? Let me know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai. It's another recent comic. I think there was only one cover for this. Not sure though. Dr. Atomic, The Pipe, and Dope Book. Guess what? Yeah, that's right. Came out in April. The first Wednesday of April, 2023. Dr. Atomic, The Pipe and Dope Book. Says it's issue number 1, but there were 6 issues altogether of the Dr. Atomic Pipe and Dope Book throughout the 70s. The 6th issue was in 1981, and it ran from 1972 to 81, and in 1976 is the issue number 4. That's what this is a reprint of. Written and drawn by Larry S. Todd. Yeah. So it had 2 covers, right? There's your A and B cover. Anatomy of a Lid. Check it out. Page reconstruction, Alan Harvey. All right. This is from Image Shadowline Productions. Let's get on with it. There you go. Pin. Joint. A number, a doobie, a bomber, and a furnace log. Check that out. New York style. A pregnant guppy. Love it. Look at that. The old can. Being resourceful. Roach clip explained. Practical roachology. Where to put your pot. Wow, door and ventilation, roof panels. Stuff on growing. Interesting. Speaking of this, the contest rules. When I hit 420 subs, whenever that's going to be, I will have my prize I'm going to put on display, CGC 9.8 slab. And I'm thinking I might throw in another hardcover just to sweeten the deal. And then I will release the contest rules that I'm still kind of working on right now. Dr. Atomic, The Pipe and Dope Book. Marvel Tales, number 1. I think it's called Miracleman Marvel Tales #1. This is the B cover, 00121, the Alex Ross cover. It's a lot thicker because this is a reprint of a reprint, essentially. This is reprinting Miracleman issues 1 through 4 out of 1985, published by Eclipse Comics, which is a reprint of the Warrior magazine stories from 1982-84 by Alan Moore. Sealed in the polybag here out of April 2023. Alex Ross cover, like I said, with Gary Leach doing the artwork to Alan Moore's story from pretty much 40 years ago. Yup. I got 5 points, baby. 5 points. I gotta pass on. I cannot not do this. Here we go. I've said this before. Where's my 25th issue? That expression will bookend this Marvelman spiel, since L. Miller and Sons, the publishing company in England, was waiting to reprint Captain Marvel in the United Kingdom for their October 1956 Captain Marvel issue. But since the Captain Marvel publisher, Fawcett Comics in the USA, was given a cease and desist by the US company National Comics, later known as DC Comics, for the likeness of Captain Marvel, also known as Shazam, versus their intellectual property for the superhero known as current day DC Comics Superman. So Fawcett Comics, they had to stop publishing Captain Marvel. It got canceled in the United States in 1956. So the Golden Age stories of Mick Anglo did not start with issue #1. L. Miller and Sons hired Mick Anglo to create something new. So he created this derivative superhero Marvelman. Someone from L. Miller and Sons wrote a fake letter from Billy Batson to readers. I think it was in issue 24, the last issue of Captain Marvel, and it's Billy Batson saying that he's done, he's not going to be in comics anymore, and he says that Marvelman 25 will be this character's first appearance. So Marvelman ran from 1956 until 1963. The 1959 ban on non-essential imports ended in England, so Marvelman was out of print by 1963. Yeah, that's like when the Avengers and the X-Men came out and dominated the market. So Marvelman ended, stopped printing after a total of 700 title appearances. My next point B, point 2, and is just think of, you got, where's my 25th issue? And then you got 82-84 Warrior, right? Point B, 1982 Warrior magazine. That was when Marvelman appeared next in stories by Alan Moore, of which the Mick Anglo Golden Age stories were now retconned as false memories. Virtual reality simulations was the big reveal in this 1982 Warrior magazine anthology. As the stories progressed, that's what you found out. So altogether, the Marvelman stories by Alan Moore ran in the first 21 issues of Warrior magazine in Great Britain until 1984. Point 3, Nietzsche, baby, Nietzsche. And point 4, really, you cannot eclipse a copyright. So Eclipse Comics is point 4. The third one is Nietzsche. And what I mean is how this Alan Moore modernization, he built upon the Golden Age history. He did not necessarily do an entire dismissive retcon like the morons that run former Marvel the past 10, 15 years. No. In 1982, Alan Moore added to Marvelman's origin the British government Project Zarathustra. Yeah, that's such a great label, Project Zarathustra, because I think Nietzsche's concept of the Superman was really more about states of consciousness, a recycling states of self-awareness that become levels of enlightenment. As Nietzsche's book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Also Sprach Zarathustra, is to Hitler's Third Reich, in my humble opinion, as Darwin's Origin of the Species is to the USA. Like our interpretations of the term survival of the fittest, like how we use the word science today. Also, genetics, specifically eugenics, was not what Nietzsche was writing about so much as it was about states of consciousness. So fourth point, Marvelman was reprinted in the USA by indie publisher Eclipse in 1985, and Eclipse had to change the intellectual property name to Miracleman for the copyright infringement, this time with Marvel Comics in the United States. So please note, these Warrior Mag Moore Marvelman stories were published in the first 6 issues of Eclipse Comics, Miracleman. The Miracleman stories from Eclipse Comics ran from 1985, when they first reprinted the Warrior magazine stories with the name Miracleman, until 1993. So now, Mickey Moran discovers he is a separate entity from Marvelman in a world that he and Marvelman now find out that they don't even know that they existed. Now we get into some real Nietzscheism, no lie. And don't take that lightly, because the correlation to Nietzsche is just ongoing after Alan Moore continues where he left off with issue number 7 onward until by the time he reaches his last issue of Miracleman, issue number 16, the whole superhero concept is taken into a realm more akin to just super being, not necessarily superhero. FYI, read Max Immortal, that comic book. It was published by Tundra Press through Rick Veitch's studio, King Hell. And Rick Veitch, by the way, did the artwork for Miracleman numbers 9 and 10, the interior artwork. And then that was followed up with John Totleben. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because the Alan Moore, John Totleben run, that was the remaining story arc by Alan Moore for this series, it's legendary. Totleben does some illustrating that just depicts some out-of-the-world meta stuff, like how in issue number 14 you have the suicide of Mickey Moran. It's really bizarre, in my opinion. Also, in my opinion, we are affected, we are changed when we learn about how comics are run. Our collecting habits are affected, I mean. Like when Miracleman, also, in a sense, when he finally reappears, when Mickey Moran, who forgot who he was, he sees the word atomic backwards, so that's the word just like in the Golden Age stories, so he sees it and it reminds him of the word Komoda. He says it, becomes Miracleman, he flies up and he says, "I'm back," when really the irony is he's not back. He was originally Marvelman, and he's saying, "I'm back," when really he wasn't back, because everything that he thought existed were virtual reality simulations, except for that last memory that caused him to disappear and forget who he was. Not to give too much away, but damn, Nietzsche, baby, Nietzsche. And the last aspect, the fifth aspect that I'd like y'all to remember, right? Just like with today, 30 by 30, right? Because in 1963, Marvelman ran out of town, right? Who came on the scene? The Avengers and the X-Men, just after the Fantastic Four. So 30 by 30, Miracleman got ended, right, in 1993, because what happened was after Alan Moore finished writing Miracleman with issue 16, Neil Gaiman took over writing, with Mark Buckingham doing the artwork from issue 17 until Eclipse went out of business, with Dave McKean doing the covers. So Eclipse went out of business in 1994. And the last issue of Miracleman was in 1993 with, Dave McKean doing the cover art, no more. The last issue was in 1993, so we're talking Marvelman, 1963. Then Miracleman ends 1993, and then here we are, 2023. Where's my 25th issue, baby? Where's my 25th issue, baby? They're right here. That's where it is. They took it. Ran his ass out of business. And then Marvel, right? They had bought the rights to Miracleman. They bought the rights. Todd McFarlane had bought Eclipse Comics after they went out of business. And then by 2011, Disney/Marvel got the rights to Miracleman/Marvelman. And so ever since then, where's my 25th issue? All 8 eyes. This is the B cover for issues 1 and 2. What turned me onto this was James Stokoe doing the artwork, because I got hooked from his Orkstain comics. But the main artist is Peter Piota Kowalski. And boroughs in Manhattan are infested by these giant spiders. It's like a horror story. Not entirely crazy about the art, but let's see how this goes. Script is by Steve Fox. Kowalski doing the art. But it's not bad. I looked through this. I haven't read it yet. Looking forward to it. It's these people taking off running from these giant spiders. And I'm guessing by the looks of it, they're hunting the spiders. I'm not sure. Yo, there's one on the ceiling right there. Shh. Be careful. All 8 eyes. Mr. Stoko. Yeah, I'm a fan of that guy. Following up that horror comic is a 7 Years in Darkness. CEX Publishing. There's a C cover to this that I missed out on. Covers A and B. This story is by Joseph Schmalk. Here's issue number dos. As far as I know, there's 3 issues out so far. The Academy of Black Magic. That's right. It's reopened its doors for the first time in 200 years. 72 children will walk through the academy doors for freshman year, but only 7 will graduate and walk out alive. It says here, their 7-year journey starts here in this dark and sweeping fantasy epic from acclaimed comics creator Joseph Schmalk. What do you think? I think it looks cool. A bit of a blacklight scenario going on. Nice paper stock, by the way. Feels like a real comic, kind of. I can remember what that's like long ago. Looks like a real comic, too. Check out that design there in the back. Let's check out the first one. See what it is. Okay, it's the same image. Oh, check that out. What's up with this guy? Pure cover by Fantasy Comics. This just came out from Antarctic Press. Like maybe what, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Look at that dude. It's the A cover. Artwork's not bad. It's not bad. Right? It's not bad at all. Oh yeah. Adventures, Part 1. Art by Brian Clifton. This next one that just came out June, I believe. It's the A and B cover. In Hell We Fight. I like this art. At first I wasn't sure about it, but John Layman's story. Chapter 1, We All Scream. Just got this one. It's from Sumerian. Pink Elephant. Art by Benson Chin. Don't know if you can see that. All right. Wild. Pink Elephant. Sumerian. We just bought Behemoth. You like that? License to Krill. It's a random buy. I got sold by Jason over at Vision Comics. He's like, here, have you seen this? By Tom Lintern. Each page is a panel. I think the other Mullet Cop comics are regular comic size books. This is the second volume of Money Shot, written by Tim Seeley. He did the artwork on this B cover. This is just like a comedy about how this physicist is trying to crowdfund or trying to get some type of funding for an interstellar transport. So in trying to gain funds, we got a website that is posting porn with aliens. So what are we talking? We're talking porn in space. It's not like a pornographic material, I would say. I think it's more just a comedy, a take off that. So, what I just explained, the scientist trying to fundraise. Comedy to check out for a change. Some lycanthropy. Some lycanthropes. Is it like lycanthropy? Lycanthropy? Whatever. Werewolves. Like Girls Night Out. Yo, check that out. So this is a real Burton cover, written by C.J. Hudson and Mary Landro, doing the interiors of this comic, published by Band of Bards. Looking like a werewolf book, yeah. This next one up I found in a comic book shop. This is War Party issue number 4 from Rampart. I guess this was originally a crowdfunded comic. It's 7 issues. There's 6 issues and a 0 issue. Just like the premise behind this, because it's supposed to take place during the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763. This is a Justin Murphy joint. Written and drawn by that guy. So I believe you got certain people that can turn to these, like, yeah, were creatures, kind of magic based. Back in the olden days. Way old. So yeah, French Indian War. That was really interesting. I like historical settings. This is a future setting. Mark Millar, Frank Quitely. First print, The Ambassadors. I got this when it first came out because I thought it was going to be an ongoing with both these guys together. And then when I noticed that it wasn't, I stopped reading it. And then I heard about how just the reviews kept continuing to be great. I read this issue. I thought it was good. It was a good lead-up comic book, but I mean, just Frank Quitely's art. He's one of my favorite artists. Sometimes he's the favorite, sometimes he's top 5, but he's always up there for me. Same thing with Mark Millar as far as writing goes, and just who would be a great successor to take over Marvel Comics? Could they offer Mark Millar enough money? We need somebody to steer the ship and turn it back to Marvel Comics from former Marvel, but I digress. Yeah, 00111, first printing. And yeah, Mark Millar, Frank Quitely, Ambassadors. This scientist, she like clones herself, but the body has superpowers, and then she transports her consciousness into this younger superpowered self, and then she tells the world that she's going to give 6 people superpowers. There's also a monkey in here. What is it? Gonzo? The monkey that Reagan had. There he is. He's like running super fast. They had to go retrieve him. I think they experimented on him originally, or we don't know. That's the mystery. Is it part of her research, or did she take the research, or is it something somebody else is trying? We don't know yet. But there's this monkey that superpowers who's like levitating shit right there. Great artwork. Fucking love it. Here she is introducing herself in her new body. This scientist. I mean, look at how interesting this is, and there isn't much going on in the background, it seems like. Although he doesn't fall short on that department, but just moved his artwork along, and the story moves along just fine. So she offs herself in her original body, and as she's talking in her original body, her new body is speaking as well, and there she is. Now she's fully that new person, superpowered person she her consciousness into. Oh yeah, then there's this other guy who is powered, and he's pretty bad. He just, with his mind, destroyed those people. Going to take him away. It was in South Africa, this guy. So makes you wonder how much of that research of hers is her own, or if she had experimented on this guy, or is he just completely separate? We don't know. I've only read the first issue. So far, so good, though, with the ambassadors, from what I hear. Real quick, Xeno #1. This is the first issue of a 3-issue science fiction anthology. 40 pages each. That's a Matt Lesniewski cover. And this includes artwork from people like Phil Hester, Nick Cagnetti, and also Shaky Kane from Oni Press. Haunt You Till the End. That is the B cover. Released in June, just last month. That's the Micah Sozo cover. Cover B. Ryan Carty did the writing to Andrea Muti's artwork. She does the A covers and the interiors from Image Top Cow. And it's a story about this billionaire who's assembled a team of people, and they're trying to prove if there is life after death. Haunt You to the End. Maple Terrace, Noah Van Sciver. That's right. He's the younger brother of Ethan Van Sciver, but this story is, it's a bunch of stories about just mishaps that happened to him during his youth. And there is sample pages you can look at online. I think, because everyone's wondering, does he show his brother? There is a sample page online where he shows, nice artwork though, gotta say, shit. Where he references he's got two older brothers that live in the attic upstairs, and one of them wants to be an artist and is working on his first comic book, saying how his brothers inspired him to get into comics. And totally different styles, you can tell. And looks cool. Look at that. Ethan is looking for you. He knows you took his comic. That's like one of the big brothers, I think. And then here he is. You want to read my comics? Ask me first. He's like, thanks for replacing my comic. Tell Micah I'm going to punch him in the mouth. I think that's supposed to be EVS. And his little brother's like, huh? And that dude's like, what happened? He's like, oh, nothing. He was understanding. All right, well, let's see how this turns out. A little chuckle here and there. Some lighthearted stories about his youth. It's just something fun to check out. Let's see. I just got it because of the Noah Van Sciver. I had swung over to Kilgore Books. This is actually from Uncivilized Books. So this writer-artist, Noah Van Sciver, had initially started being published under Kilgore Books. Or I know at the beginning of his career, it was through Kilgore Books, which is based out of Denver, where I'm at. And the bookstore, Kilgore Books, is where I bought this from downtown just recently. Ta-da, there you go. That's how I found out about Noah Van Sciver, is from hanging out at Kilgore Books, downtown Denver. Hanging out over at Vision Comics and Oddities, right there. Right, it's my favorite comic book shop, southwest of Denver. They are publishing their own comic book. It was initially called just Vision Comics and Oddities, AC Canales, he's the artist. He gives himself 6 pages, and then the other artists he'll give like 4. I think Salcedo gives himself 3 pages at the end. That artist. Stories compiled together in this odd mausoleum anthology. This is a cover by Jake Hayes, one of the contributing artists. Here's AC Canales cover. Here's issue number 2. I think I gave issues 1 and 2 over to Matt Reel over at Rude Planet. Part of my A-OK. These guys, Honey Bunny Springtime. A lot of these stories, some of these, it's like it's hit or miss with me, some of these stories. These bunnies are funny. The creators of that on Free Comic Book Day were handing out the sample of just the stuff that they did. The rabbits, bone rollers, that's been stories in here. So, AC Canales has Giselle with Y. And when I was at the Rocky Mountain Convention where Steranko was at, AC Canales had a stand there, talked with him for a minute. That's Giselle. She has this eyeball, the tentacles, kind of looks like Vision Comics and Oddities. It's like her little friend. These people just get in trouble. They're not like the most kind-hearted folk. This is her crew, these people. So, and yeah. The artwork at first you might be like, it looks too amateur, but no, it's fun. Especially like at the end, this dude, Salcedo, he's got some artwork that you just really gotta look at the details. This one's a little bit easy on the eyes this time, but he's got a lot of stuff typically that is like super detailed. So, Vision Comics and Oddities. This is their current location on Federal, southwest of Denver. It's probably a 20-minute drive from Denver, downtown. But they're moving to a new location, so check out their Facebook. From last May, Free Comic Book Day. Spider-Man Venom. Here's Uncanny Avengers. This was the return of the Ultimate Universe and the mainstream Marvel Universe here with that issue. Free Comic Book Day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Tim Lachey did that cover. And Rude Planet, man. By the way, I sent you last year's Free Comic Book Day TMNT. That was the one comic I wish I did not send you. Wish it was this one, man. Street Fighter. Street Fighter. Free Comic Book Day. That is by Capcom Udon, but that's Edwin Huang that did that cover. Oh yeah, the fabulous Furry brothers and friends. I think that is Fantagraphics. Yep. And those stories are written and drawn by Dave Sheridan, Paul Mavrides, and Gilbert Shelton. Free Comic Book Day. Madballs versus Garbage Pail Kids. Couldn't resist. Had to order those online because nobody else had them. That's a Joe Simcoe cover, by the way. Oh, you know who this is. Frank Frazetta, the Frazettaverse. Got 3 right here in this. Opus Comics. Opus has done a lot of really kick-ass books. Well, it's... Actually, got to say it is hit or miss. The covers look kick-ass, though. But actually published by heavy metal or more like metal bands. So let me know what you think of Opus. But this particular Free Comic Book Day for Zetaverse, it's got the Mothman story, Dawn Attack, but there's also a new Death Dealer story in here. I Am Stan, the graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee by Tom Scioli. That's right. So, as you know, he did the biography on Jack Kirby. That was the first and only sequential biography about Jack Kirby. Here we have I Am Stan. I Am Stan. I want to say, Stan I Am. I Am Stan. This is the new sequential biography by Tom Scioli about Stan Lee. Let's finish this up, shall we? Takashi Okazaki style. Another one of my favorite comic book creations is Afro Samurai. I love those two movies. Co-produced by Samuel L. Jackson. He did the voice for Ninja, and of course Afro. A mixture of the samurai with hip-hop, thanks to writer-artist Takashi Okazaki. So he was hired to do these variant covers. Actually, this is the A cover. So Takashi Okazaki right there. And this is Star Wars Visions, the A cover. I just got one copy of the A cover because I really dug this B cover for issue 1. And this is from the animated series that came out. The first episode had this one particular character right here. He was like an anti-hero. He wasn't Jedi, but I guess he maybe used to be a Sith. So, from the first Star Wars Visions animated episode, they had different artists, writers for each episode. The first one was really the only one that I liked. Really dig this cover. Let's not forget, though, the ultimate Sith here. Darth Vader by Takashi Okazaki. Look at this dude. And if I'm going to get Vader, right, if you're going to get the ultimate Sith, then hey. First of all, Star Wars Yoda number 8. This is actually the B cover. This just came out last month. Pretty dope, huh? And then the month before that, or a couple months actually, it's issue number 6. Cover A of the 6th printing. Wow. Fucking awesome. Yoda. I like the color green too. Here's a little advice. Invest in what you know and buy what you like. And on that note, I float. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Till next time, much love. Stay safe. May the Force be with you. Peace. One more thing I want to add. One more thing, actually. Speaking of the Force, and may the Force be with you. Listen up. It is the 7th right now, really early in the morning. 7th of July. The longest I've ever gone without a cigarette was just over 18 months. And I still haven't had a cigarette since December 7th, 2021. So we are now entering a year and 8 months. That's right, I just finished. Today is a year and 7 months. Fucking A. A year and 7 months. No cigarette. No nicotine. And lots and lots and lots of green. There is still hope, ladies and gentlemen. I lost sleep for the longest time, for months. But it's happening. Just want to let you know, it is possible. All right then. Thank you for listening. Thank you for swinging by. Stay healthy. May the Force be with you. Peace.